What's the easiest way to build a BSP without setting up a full Ubuntu environment? Obviously, that's Docker for sure. In this video, I will show you how to create an Ubuntu container using a ready-to-go Docker file from Renesas without messing with your host computer and no dependency problems. So let's get started. First, install Docker on your system using this guide. So we will go through the installation methods here, and we will use the first one using the apt repository. So first of all, we will set up Docker's apt repository. So first we will update them and then install CS certificates and curl command, and then add the apt repository and provide permissions. Moving on to the next step, we will add the repository to apt resources. We will add the repository here and then update it. Next, we will install the Docker packages from here. So we will install Docker Commercial Engine and Docker CLI and the related plugins. So they are already installed in my system. Now to check if it's running, we will run the service command. So this command shows that the service is active and running. Now we need to add the user to the Docker group. Let's first clean the environment. So we will add our current user to the Docker group, and then we need to completely log out of the account and then log back in. So, or we can reboot the system. So to avoid the reboot, we can just switch the user and get back in. So we have relogged into our account. And now to check that you are part of the Docker group, we need to run this command. So here we can see that we are added to the Docker group. Now to verify that you can run Docker commands without sudo, so we will try to run a container called hello world. So this is the output from the container. So it says hello from Docker, which means that our user is added to sudo group and we can run the command without putting sudo in there. So now the Docker install is complete. Now the easiest way to create an Ubuntu container with everything you need to build the BSP is to use a Docker file, which is given by Renesas already. So these are the Docker files provided by Renesas according to the Ubuntu that you want to use within your Docker system. So I will be using this one, Ubuntu 20. So you can use wget command to download this. So here I have selected Ubuntu 20 and the Docker file is downloaded in here. And now we can see the Docker file that we just downloaded. So this Docker file is a ready to use setup script that creates a minimal Ubuntu 20 Docker environment with all the necessary tools to build Renesas BSPs. And it matches your host user's ID for proper file access. It sets the time zone, installs essential development packages, and configures a clean and non-interactive environment. So this allows you to build Yocto-based BSPs in an isolated and repeatable setup without modifying your host system. Now we will move on to build a container image from this Docker file. For this, we will run the command. Here we will use the docker build command, giving the host user ID and group ID and the Docker file that we just saw. Now it's building the Docker image. This may take some while because all of the packages are being installed in it. So now first we need to confirm that our Docker image is built. For this, we will use docker image command. This is RZ Ubuntu 20 image and created just a few seconds ago. So now we can start a container based off that image. And for this, we will create a separate directory that we will be mounting. Let's clear this up. And now from the Docker image that we just built, we will create a container inside which we can build our Renesas BSP. So now we are inside the container, and any command you will be running would be run inside this container. So here is the Yocto directory that we mounted from outside. When running inside a Docker container, some graphical interfaces like menu config will not be displayed correctly because the terminal you are executing commands in is not a standard terminal and some things will not be displayed correctly. To handle this, you need to run tmux command before you start any of your Yocto work. So this will move you to tmux terminal. Now enter exit to exit from terminal. Now tmux terminal section is closed and we are back to the original terminal. And now to get out of the Docker container, we can again run exit command. To re-enter the container, we need to check the ID from docker ps. So here are the names and IDs of all the containers that we run. And now to start the container again, we will use docker start command with the container name that we just used. So it has started the container again. And now to run any command, we will go into its interactive shell and we will run the command docker execute with -it, which means interactive. Here we need to put the container name and we are again back to the container. And that's it. You now have a fully functional containerized Ubuntu environment tailored for Renesas BSP development, all without touching your host setup. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, comment, or share it with fellow developers. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.